And we are officially live. Good evening, man, to the world, podcast nation. This is What's Good with Gil and Larry, and today is Wednesday, December or November. I'm sorry, I'm a month ahead. November 8th, 2023, and we got some things on today's plate. So I just want to get right to it, Gil, man. I'm gonna let you open it up, my brother, because I already know where I want to go at, but I want to let you go. I'm gonna kind of let you lead the dance tonight, okay?
All righty.
For you.
Let's do it.
Let's go, my brother.
Let's. I'm not gonna do the whole outline of today's show. We'll just go through it. But
Yes,
let's
sir.
start with the NBA. Let's start with your boys. I know you got a lot of feeling on the NBA.
I definitely do.
Breaking news today. About an hour ago, it was announced that Denver star point guard is going to miss some significant time due to a lingering hamstring injury, and that really he's really the number two guy on that team behind the Joker.
Indeed.
Does this really change up how you see the West? He's not going to miss the whole season. He's not going to miss half the season, but he's going to miss at least a month because of this injury. How do you think this affects them and their seeding in the West right now? Let's get into that before we talk about this in-season tournament and this other nonsense.
Oh my God!
What do you think about the Murray injury?
It's definitely a significant blow, but if I'm only missing a month, I'd rather be now. It's still early in the season, so right now I think that Denver is still deep and loaded enough that they could still be one of the top dogs in the West. I don't see them by them losing Murray. That because he still got Joker. Joker was doing it last year, and he was doing the year before. Okay, and they were still up in the top of the league. If you compare it to the rest of the West, only ones the West is loaded, so I'm not going to say only because the West is loaded. Golden State's having a good season so far. Who else is up there in the West? And I could say is actually a contender. The Clippers are what they are. The Lakers are who they are. Minnesota is decent. If you think about it, man, only ones I can honestly say that I can see is really like playing consistently good ball at this point right now is Golden State and Denver. Okay, Phoenix that hasn't had their full roster, and I still don't know what kind of impact that roster is going to be when they all get on the court because I still think that they're thin when it comes to the bench, and that's going to be their Achilles heel when you go against some of these deeper teams. I'm looking at teams like Houston, the Thunder. They're playing good ball, solid ball. So right now, I don't think it's going to be that detrimental because I don't see nobody really running away. Memphis is at the bottom right now because I guess you have to have a superstar on your team for your team to be relevant because it's amazing how they only lost that guard. Dillon Brooks went over to Houston, and yet they're 1-6 today. They're 1-6, bottom of the West, all because Ja Morant's not playing. They have an old squad, so I don't know, brother. I don't think it's that significant, in my opinion. I'd rather have Jamal Murray when I go on my run than in the beginning. As long as it wasn't a season. Now you talking about season, you blow your Achilles, I don't see a repeat. Because he's the one that kind of makes the glue go. He's a facilitator. He's the one that gets people their shots off. He makes the game a lot more easy, and he's the number two guy behind Joker. So you definitely need him. That's the 1-2 punch you need. And what you think, my brother?
I'm pretty much in agreement, but what does concern me is that he does have an injury history in the past.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of injury. It wasn't hamstring. This is hamstring. But I do know that, well, I shouldn't say I know. From what I've seen in the past, no matter how good Denver is, when they don't have him in the playoffs, he makes the difference. He's the one that puts them over the top. He is the facilitator. He is the second best scorer. He can take you off the dribble, he can shoot from the outside. He is the modern day NBA point guard. Like he's the guy that you would point to and be like, okay, this is point guard NBA 2023/2024. So I think it's just significant for now for maybe seeding if they start to drop because, like you said, Golden State is off to a good start. I think Phoenix will be on their way once they have a full roster. I'm not really worried about Denver if they make a top 4 seed as
Mhm.
long as they have Murray. They
Yeah.
got to have Murray when the playoffs start. But this is supposed to be, this is what they're saying. It's supposed to be a 4 to 6 week kind of injury, but hamstrings,
Yeah, they
you're
yeah,
going through your rehab
that's
and
a
you can
fact.
tweak it and it can set you back. So I would just say, don't be surprised if he's not back until after the All-Star game.
Hmm.
That's me being very conservative, but being very careful too. Don't expect him back. If he's back before the All-Star game, that's a plus. It's not a need. You want him after the All-Star game for that playoff push, and then obviously the playoffs. I don't know who they would play in the playoffs, but I don't like their chances if Murray's not on the team.
Right.
I just
Right.
don't.
Yeah, I
Because
don't.
now who else is going to create for these guys? Who's going to get
Mhm.
off their own shot? Joker can't score 75 points.
That's a fact.
He's not going to get 30 assists.
That's a
So
fact.
you got to be realistic. Yes, he's still going to score, he's still going to facilitate, but you need that other guy to open up the floor. The other guy to stretch the floor so they
Indeed.
don't pack it in on the inside.
Indeed.
So I wouldn't say right now it's significant. Get back to me in 2 months.
Indeed.
In 2 months, I'll answer it.
Yeah, I can agree. I definitely could agree. And before we got on, I was actually watching. There's a couple games on tonight that was good games. I was actually watching the Philly and Boston game because I wanted to see. But Philly, man, once again, we're gonna go to this trade with Harden. If you ask me who came out on top of that trade, I'm gonna say Philly, man, because once again they got some glue guys. They got some guys. I thought Kelly Oubre Jr. He fits that. He's a journey guy, but he fits this team. Like he's actually a contributor to this team, and he likes. I don't know. He fits in Philly, and Embiid is playing like at a different level right now. Tyrese Maxey, even Tobias Harris is actually playing good basketball right now. Like, and then Nick Nurse, we got to think about Nick Nurse is a championship coach. He has won a championship in Toronto, and now he is a solidified big man, one of the better big men in the game, with complementary players around the big man. You know what? Philly surprising me. They really are. They are. I already had Boston up there. I had Milwaukee up there. You always got Pitt, Philly top 4, but I didn't think that they were going to be as good as they are this early as I'm looking. I'm only concerned about that team once again is if Embiid goes down. I think Tyrese Maxey can he's going to have big games, but I don't know if he's big enough to carry that team without Embiid, with all them other players. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And as we know, he has had problems with his back. He's the biggest soft center I've ever seen because he's on the ground more than Allen Iverson was. And Allen Iverson was what 6 foot, 160 pounds. So he should be on the ground going to the paint. But you're 7'1", 280, 290. Come on, bro. Like stop flopping. Stop it. You can't be that soft. Boston is strong. They strong. They strong. And my concern with them is Porzingis because Porzingis has had a history, injury, a problem in the past. You know what I'm saying? So, with any sport, injuries could kill a season for you, man. Especially with significant players. And nowadays, with these players being brittle, it's not like our era, brother. It's not like in late '80s, '90s when these were titans, these were warriors. They were 82 gamers. They played 82 games. When you up, no, what was the rest? What's the rest, huh? What you mean back to back, huh? No, and they wasn't making a quarter of the money that they're making today, brother. A quarter of the money they're making today. I don't care. Look, I'm sorry, America. I'm going on my little rant real quick because this irks my soul. Me and Gil talked about it earlier, right? I'm not about nobody getting their coin and their money. Okay, I'm not. I'm all about it, man. Look, you Titans, you Gladiators, go get your money. I'm not worried about all that. Okay, but there's no way in Sam Ham, Houston, right, that this athlete's making 300 million. They're making way more money than the athletes in the 80s and 90s ever made. Correct? and you're sitting on him because he's on the back-to-back. Healthy scratch. Not injured. No, we're just going to preserve him for the later on, low management. And it's sad when you got to make a rule about low management, man. Where's your pride at? Huh? Where's your pride? I'm getting tired of the players having so much voice that they could cry and manipulate their way out of teams because, I don't want to play for the team, for the coach. I don't want to play. You know what that sends down to the youth? You know what message that sends to the youth? That you could cry and you could finagle your way out of it. You had to be tough, man, when we came up, man. We took pride in balling, man. These dudes been getting paid way too much money, and they act like pansies on the court, man, and off the court. Why are we talking about them? Why are we talking about them off the court issues? James Harden, you in a club, you're in a club, strip club, money, phones, and all this other stuff, right? I'm worried about, I want to see you play ball, brother. I want to see you play ball, man. I'm getting tired of it, man. They're making way too much money, and it's not fair to the fans. The fans, when you come out to see the superstars play, here, bought that ticket in advance, and you want to see these superstars play, and you come to find out that he's not playing because he was just on the back-to-back the day before. So I got to tell my son, my grandson, and his friends, whoever I brought, that they're not going to see Steph Curry play because he played the night before. We're not going to see LeBron play because he played the night before. We're not going to see Embiid or none of these top guys play because they played the night before. I don't know how you feel about it, brother. I'm pretty sure you teed off with these soft behind athletes nowadays, man.
I think the difference between you and I, and it's a minor one, is I don't get invested anymore. I know that they don't care about me. I've come to that realization, which is fine. So in the other way goes, I don't really care enough about them to be like, to be so hurt. Like, I know you still have the passion for the game. Mine comes and goes. It hasn't been the same league to me since Jordan left.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just because Jordan left. I think Adam Silver gives these players too much latitude, too much. And I'm all in favor of making your money. Right. I am. Make your money. If you're making X, I want you to make Y, and eventually Z. I want you to go up. Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I?
Exactly.
I want you to be successful. I want you to get paid. Because I know the generations before you were well underpaid. So to me, it's not you're being overpaid. To me, you're being paid what you're worth, market value. This is what you're worth. So that's fine. But you got to show up to work.
Yes, sir.
This, and these coaches that enable, this commissioner that's enabling, now we're going to put out a rule. Whatever, dude. These guys make so much money. You can't threaten them with money. You can't do that. I mean, they're doing it, but I don't think it's going to have the effect longevity-wise that they're hoping that it's going to. I think it's going to work a little bit right now. Mm-hmm. Right now. But listen, I know we're not supposed to compare athletes to the everyday person, okay? Because I know yesterday you worked, and so did I. Today, you worked, and so did I. Tomorrow, you're going to work, and so am I. That's how this thing goes. So we, the other 99%, can't relate to a professional athlete because it's just a different set of rules. They're special people. They are. They can do what we wish we can do. But at the same time, I don't have to be in favor of it. I rarely go to a game.
Yeah.
And I can't even tell you the last time I went to an NBA game. I think the last time I went to a game was when the New Jersey Nets, I can't remember who they played, but they had Jason Kidd on the team, and it was their last home game, and it was Fan Appreciation Day. So they were doing giveaways throughout the whole night. So this was So they went to the finals in 2002, 2003. This was 2004. This was the last game I was at. And I don't remember who New Jersey played. But the last game I was at, it was the last home game of the year. So I'm just not, and if I go again, it's probably going to be to see the Sixers,
Right.
who they're going to play. I might look to get Sixers San Antonio. You interested?
Ooh. Well, you already know it. Mumbai?
Okay.
I can see Mumbai.
Yep. Victor?
I can see Victor.
We can check out Victor.
Man, listen, man, he look tall.
But keep in mind who his coach is.
Man, hold up, brother. If he sits Wembanyama, if he sits Wembanyama, man, come on, he's 19, brother. He's 19.
He's 19, but he's never played against this much talent,
Fact.
this amount of grown men, and this amount of minutes, and traveled this much during his season.
And he's a franchise.
And he's a franchise. He's the one you got to protect the most.
Yeah, he's the moneymaker. That's who they were coming to see.
Yep. That's who we'd be coming to see.
I mean, I'm coming to see. I'm not coming to see Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson. I ain't want to see him last year. Well, I want to see him this year. Who? Yeah, exactly. Who is that? Mumbai? Yeah, I'm there, right? And then what? Speaking of this league, right? Now they got this in tournament play, right? And we talked about it earlier off record, right? And I get it. You're trying different things, you know. You got to try different things. Just like when they first made the 8-team playoff into a 10-team playoff, with the last 4 teams have to play in. Which after a while when you get used to it, it's like, okay, cool. Reminds me of NCAA when they added an extra 65 team, and they had to play in to be the 16th seed, to play the 1 seed to get knocked off. We get that, okay? Or the 8th and 9th seed had to also play too. So it wasn't always just the bottom feeder. But this league, I'm still trying to grasp the idea, brother. Okay. One, the course look corny to me, man. It looks corny. It looks like some AM1 stuff, man. It looks like some stuff we did on the playground. Okay. 2, they talk about this cup and this, I don't know, governor's cup. I don't know what they call it, NBA cup, and they supposed to be excited. It's so I watched a promo commercial for it earlier, right? And I get it. You're cutting the check, but these athletes really had to sell this idea. And you could tell that they was definitely reading off the cue card, okay? Because there's no way you're going to tell me that they're looking forward or extremely excited to play a mid-season tournament to get a chip to say we won the mid-season tournament and it's bigger than the O'Brien Trophy. Yeah, okay. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. They just named it another. Who they named after? Michael Jordan now? Or that's the MVP when you win the league now? I don't know. They keep naming all these trophies. I don't know. You know, but I just know the big ball. When you win, you get a big ball over net. I know that trophy. I don't know what they call it in America. I don't know. They name everything, you know. So I'm not a fan of it yet. Maybe it's one of those things will grow on me, you know. I know you mentioned about the European aspect, and I get it because, you know, the game has become international. You think the top guys in the league right now are international, you know, Giannis, Luka, Joker. I don't know too many American made out. LeBron's getting old, so he's about to transition out. Kevin Durant is getting old, so he's going to transition out. So who's your league? When Mbappe is European, like, come on, Germany just beat the USA in the World Cup, right? So I'm just saying, I get it. You're trying to get the international dollars. I mean, just like the NFL, the NBA, everybody's going overseas to get the international dollar. So I get that part. But so far, brother, I'm not a fan of it. I haven't grasped it yet. It's not interesting to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm a traditionalist. I don't know. I'm just not feeling it right now. I get it. It's about money. I get it. I'm tired of money, but okay.
Well, the thing is, they don't care. I want to stress this. They don't care about you.
Yeah.
They don't care about me because they've already got us. They want to expand. They're taking a lead from other leagues that make more money, which is hard to believe, but make more money and have more viewership internationally. So they're like, well, if the NFL can do it, why can't we do it? If the Premier League, if they can just stop during their season and have their guys join another league for 2 weeks and then come back, why can't we do it? So, it's a copycat kind of, not just league, but world. This works. I'm going to try and do the same thing and put my own little spin on it. So they're not the first to do it. I personally don't care for when the NFL goes over to Europe. That does nothing for me. I don't want to watch football at 9:30 in the morning.
Me either, my brother.
I don't like that. They got stadiums with soccer fields for guys that weigh 165 pounds, and now you got dudes that are more than twice the size, and they're tearing up the field and tearing up their body and stuff like that. I don't want to see guys falling on the ground because the field's not holding up. I don't want to look out in the audience and see all the teams in the league represented. I want a home field advantage. I wanted to see in Frankfurt. I wanted to see Kansas City Chiefs, Miami Dolphins. That's what I wanted to see. It could have been 50-50 or 60-40. However, but I didn't want to see Minnesota Vikings, LA Chargers, New York Jets. Dude, come on, man. And then you got me because they're swinging Mountain High by John Denver. Like that's supposed to tug at my heartstrings. Guess what? I don't like country music. So how about that? If they would have threw some Metallica in there, if they would have thrown a little LL Cool J, you might have got my attention.
Yeah.
Just saying. I get it. I understand what they're doing. I understand why they're doing it. And they don't care about us because they've already got us. Yeah. They want the guy across the pond. They want the guy who's used to watching soccer or their version of football to watch American football. The people who are into rugby, they want them to watch football. They want them to buy the merchandise. They want the ratings. They want the money. I get it. I just don't care for it, but I get it. The NBA is trying to do the same thing. It is what it is.
Now, my brother, moving on, right? Because I think I ran enough about this new league that we have. Whatever. Pack on the college football, man. I wanted to jump in that real quick. You know that the rankings are still the same. Ohio State's still number one. Georgia's number two. They got my fault. Ohio State's number one. They still got Michigan. Michigan's number three. Ohio State's number one. Georgia's number two. Michigan's number three. And then you got Florida State number four. I thought that Washington would leapfrog Florida State because of just, you got to think they went against USC, which was a tougher fight, and they blew them out in the fourth quarter, got away in the fourth quarter. It was a tight game. It was going blow for blow. But then the fourth quarter, USC defense let them down, and Washington offense stepped up. So for me, Penix is still in the lead for the Heisman. As long as they don't implode, I see them win it. Okay. Florida State struggled with Pitt. They struggle with Pitt, man. They barely beat Pitt. That's why I thought the leapfrog would take effect. Ohio State handled business. They went effectively. In Georgia, they had a good game. I watched that game. Actually, it was a good game. Yep. They had Missouri. It was a good game. And so there's no shake up there. I think that once, I don't know, man, because Michigan plays Penn State this week. This is their first true test. Okay. They got to go to Happy Valley, right, which is a very chaotic, rough place to play. Okay, but
I've been there. I've been there.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a wild place, man. The crowd gonna be rocking. It's gonna be rocking. But that being said, Franklin hasn't won a major game. Not one that really mattered, right? So you convinced me, my brother. Because I got burnt at the Ohio State game, okay? I got burnt. Do I think that Penn State is going to be Michigan? Neggy boo-boo. I don't think it's happening. They could get blown out at home, to be honest, because Michigan is really, really, really good. And this is the year. If any year they're gonna have to get it done this year, because Harbaugh, in my opinion, is out, bro. It's some sweet spots opening up next year in the NFL, and it's going to be prime pickings. And wherever he goes to, I promise you, they're going to give him full power to pick, choose, GM, everything. I promise you, he's going to pick his players, build his program he wanted. It's not going to be like when Chip Kelly went up and just destroyed Philly. And I don't know what the hell he was doing, but yeah, I like Michigan, Ohio State, Georgia. They're doing what they need to do. And Florida State, I think, eventually will get leapfrogged by Washington. In turn, I think Washington is going to have a Heisman winner. And it's ironic that the Pac-12 is disbanding, right? Is actually having the best year of all the quote unquote Power 5 schools. Ain't that something, brother? And what are your opinions of the top four and also this Michigan and Penn State game?
Well, top four, I do agree. Those are the top four still today. I don't think those are the best teams in order. I think Michigan and Georgia are 1-2, in my opinion. I do think Washington, it's funny because you would have thought Washington would have jumped Florida State this week. I actually think that Florida State this past week, it'll hurt them down the road. And I think Washington will get them later in the season off of the tough game that Florida State had this week. It's fun. It's funny how that works. I think Washington is the fourth best team right now. They're on the outside looking in. I think Ohio State, even though they're ranked 1, they're the third best team. Where I will disagree with you is I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is making a strong push for the Heisman. Strong push. And I also think J.J. McCarthy from Michigan, although I don't think he's going to win it, he might take away a couple of votes that would have gone to Penix. Yeah. So I'm not saying Penix won't win it. But what I'm saying is when I thought 2 weeks ago he was front and center, now I think it's going to be a sprint to the finish because it was Marvin Harrison Jr. that changed that game this week. He's one of those guys that gets 2 touchdowns a game, and you actually think if they actually purposely tried targeting him, he would get 3 to 4. He gets 2 at minimum because that's his quota. That's shooting par as a golf term. But I actually think he could do 3 or 4 a game if they were like, all right, we really need him this game for X, Y, and Z reason. I don't have much to say about Georgia, but I got to get into Michigan a little bit now because what's going on there is really catching a lot of steam. My whole theory was when this first came out is I didn't really care. Sign stealing is a thing. They do it in, a lot of sports. They do it a ton in baseball. It's kind of expected. So at this point, I was like, so they had a guy who, was really good at it and really helped them the last couple of years. Whatever. They had a good guy that did it, and you didn't have a good guy, but you're trying to do it. Ohio State's trying to do it. That was the way I was thinking until I started hearing a little bit of this detail with the guy traveling to the other teams and being in disguise and, traveling to their practice, traveling to their scrimmages, things like that. And then how Harbaugh is so like, oh, I didn't even know this guy was on the team. I didn't even know he was on the sideline with me. Listen, man, come on, bro. Come on. You give yourself all the ammunition that the Big Ten, the NCAA, the NFL ever needs to just really dislike your ass. Yeah. You really do. It gets to a point where your reputation, your unlikable reputation overpowers the reputation of you as a football coach, you as a recruiter, because you're great at it. Everywhere you go, you turn it around overnight and make them relevant and make them a contender. He did it with Stanford.
He did.
He did it with the 49ers.
He did.
And he did it with Michigan. And it
He
took
did.
no time at all. The 49ers, 3 years in a row, they were the best team.
That's a
They
fact.
only went to the Super Bowl once and didn't win it. But 3 consecutive years, they were the best. They were better than the Giants when the
That's a fact.
Giants beat them in overtime because the dummy couldn't hold on to the ball, okay, when it was being kicked to him. They went to the Super Bowl the next year. And in the year after that, I think they were better than Seattle.
Indeed.
I think they were, and Seattle wins in a tight one and it blows out Denver in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So, and then, of course, after a while, Harbaugh and his personality or lack thereof weighed heavy on management and the GM and all that. And they moved on. Fine. You're there for a while. Some people, they never unpack their suitcase. They're there for a few years and then they got to move on because they wear out their welcome, AKA, Larry Brown from the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't stay anywhere too long. Always, his welcome was finally out the door.
Yeah, that's a fact.
So I think Harbaugh is the same way. Now, I think the Big Ten is in a situation here where it's lose-lose. Because if they suspend Harbaugh and Michigan loses, they say, oh, you suspended him twice in the year because he missed the first 3 games of the year over getting a couple of guys, a couple of burgers before he actually tried recruiting them. Again, dumb. Whatever, it's a rule, can't do it. He broke it. So what do? Do they suspend him or do they make them bowl ineligible?
Ineligible. Woof.
Well, now you're punishing the kids both ways, and I never liked that. I never liked it. If you sit on your hands and do nothing until the season's over, well, then you're gonna have everybody in the Big Ten screaming. So they can't.
Happened with Penn State.
They can't win. And the other thing is now the NFL is gonna act like, if Harbaugh gets disciplined. Where the NFL is not going to be a safe haven for him, which means if he gets suspended by the NCAA, the NFL will not allow him to be hired until his suspension is over with the NCAA. So if he gets suspended after the season, then he can't take the Raiders job this year. You know what I'm saying? And that's the number one job for him. Indeed. That's the job that the owner, because he's dumb and he's a fanboy, will let Harbaugh be the GM, be the president of player personnel. He'll pick any player he wants, run the draft, coach the team, bring in any coach he wants. That's the dream job. That's not going to happen in Chicago. Okay. No. That's not going to happen with the Giants. That's, I'm thinking about teams where head coach, that's not going to happen in Washington.
Yeah.
Okay. So I really think right now the Raiders' job is the way to go. I see Michigan running the table, winning the championship, and he goes. Mm-hmm. Now, if they throw him a suspension or they make them bowl ineligible, then listen, everything's off the table. But right now, since he's not suspended and the team hasn't had to face a penalty, and they could just come out with, listen, there just wasn't enough evidence. A lot of this was rumors and innuendo. And we think we might have enough to crucify this dude, but we can't prove that Harbaugh knew. And we learned in the movie Training Day, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. And you can't ruin Harbaugh and these kids because you kind of think he knew, but you just can't prove. There's no smoking gun.
No.
And if there's no smoking gun, then there's no paper trail. And if there's no paper trail, who are you leading it to? This guy, they could set him up to be a rogue agent. Yeah. Like the referee in the NBA that was gambling on games.
Yeah.
David Stern convinced everybody he was a rogue agent. He did this on his own. This is not a conspiracy or anything like that. Now, we can choose to believe it or not, but there were always times when we were like, man, the referees are really giving this team a call. And now we know for a fact that it actually happened. So you can try to convince people otherwise, but they're going to think what they're going to think. So, I don't know. I don't know if this guy was a rogue agent or not. I would hate to see it ruin the season. I don't really care what the people from the Big Ten think, because like I said before, they're trying to cheat too. They just weren't as good at it. And because Harbaugh's guy was really good at it, he got caught eventually. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. For me, I'm still sticking with the I really don't care. I don't think it ruins the integrity of the game like a lot of people are going to paint it out to be. It is what it is. And maybe Harbaugh sticks around another year anyway, because Michigan's not going to fire him. That's for sure. If he gets suspended again, he gets suspended again. He'll have one more year to recruit and make some kind of bowl game at whatever kind of level. Michigan's still going to be good. They are one of those. They are one of those teams. They're in a Big Ten is a weak conference. Their competition is Ohio State. They've beaten Ohio State the last 2 years. I know that this is technically a big game going to Happy Valley, taking on the Nittany Lions, Penn State. But you and I both know how this is going to go.
Yeah.
You and I both know as soon as Michigan gets rolling, and they go up by 7, they go up by 10.
It's going to be bad.
It's over for James Franklin.
It's going to be bad.
It's over for the Nittany Lions. The Nittany Lions are playing for third.
Yeah.
For third in that conference. That weak conference. And it's weak because I said Ohio State legitimate. Michigan legitimate. Penn State, they're okay. You tell me, in the rest of that conference, who's the fourth best team? Who's the fourth best?
How
about you take them all, throw them up against the wall, and just pick off the wall with your covering your eyes. Just pick, because they're all about the same level. Purdue.
Look, I hate to pick on my
Northwestern.
Look, I hate
Michigan State. Who we picking?
I hate to pick on my friend Dion, man, but it's like having a bunch of Colorados after the top 3. I'm sorry, Coach Prime.
Going there.
I'm sorry, Coach Prime. Hey, this is what we give you your flowers. We got to give you that too when your team playing like poop. It ain't your fault, or is it your fault? I don't know. You take the credit when they win.
I said Oregon State, didn't I?
You did.
I said Oregon State.
You did. I said that it was a winnable game, but I told you I liked Oregon State too, because I just said it is what it is. When you play one-dimensional football, it's not hard for any defense to defend you, And we already know that Coach Prime don't have the players in order to run the system he's trying to run. So at the end of the day, this was expected. They overachieved when they won more than one game. A lot of people that jumped off the bandwagon. A lot of people that jumped off. You know how I go, man. You're going to ride with winners, man. It's nothing new, man. It's nothing personal. It's just the way we design and wire, man. We don't follow losers. We follow winners. Okay, so I don't consider you a bandwagoner because you was with him when he was winning. But at the end of the day, they're not winning games, and nobody wants to come see this team. And then it's like me watching, unfortunately, my Cowboys when we played at Philly. I get to that later. Certain teams is like a letdown, man. It's like you follow them, you be so involved in the game, and then in the end they let you down. Okay. When you lose to teams like Stanford, man. Come on, bro.
Listen, to Coach Prime's credit, he made Colorado relative for half a season.
He did.
Half a season. That hasn't happened to Colorado in nearly 20 years. Okay, he made them relevant for half a season. He's got a ways to go, but as long as he's there, as long as he's recruiting, and I think his son's going to stay.
Yeah.
Quarterback. I think he's going to stay. Yeah, he's not a guaranteed first rounder.
No.
Since how much they've collapsed. Yeah. I think he's going to stay and come out next year. I have no insight on that. That's just my personal opinion. What is another, before we leave college football, give me a game that you're looking forward to, that you're highlighting to take a look at this coming Saturday.
Oh
Anything?
man. Matter of fact, let me see. I'm sorry, brothers, because I was so locked into the Big Ten game that I didn't really see the rest
Well,
of the game.
we do know Michigan is playing at Penn State, and on paper, that's a big game. You and I both think Michigan's going to win big.
Yeah,
Am I correct?
they're gonna mop the floor with them guys, man.
Okay. All
It's not
right.
even gonna be a game. On this slate, Utah plays Washington, but they're not gonna beat Washington.
But that's a pretty good game on
It's
paper.
good. It's definitely good. I mean, any
And this
Pac-12
is
game.
this is
Yeah,
the
on the
kind of
slate.
game
You know
that
what?
if Washington does well, jumps them into the top 4. And if it's a
Ooh,
tight game or Utah were to win
ooh.
it, it's going to keep Washington out of the playoffs more
It
than
will.
likely.
It will. So if Utah could bring the smoke to Washington, right? Um, and I'm not saying they can't, because they could go in Washington and beat them. It's not. I'm not saying that this is a game that Washington is definitely going to run away with, because one thing that Utah has is a decent defense. You know, I just think that Washington is playing on all cylinders right now, and their offense is high power, bro. So they're going to have an off game, and it can happen. It's football. You know what I mean? They could go in there and come out flat, and Utah could come in there and play an awesome game, and then derail that. And then next thing you know, we're talking about, oh my God, I can't believe that Washington lost to Utah. So it's a possibility. I personally don't think that they're going to lose. You know, I think that but before the year end of the year, they will be that 4th seed that's going to be in the playoffs. I want them. I want to see the top 4 play each other, bro. You know, um, I want to see them go against the Ohio States, the Michigans, and I want to see. You know, that's a game. But Georgia plays Ole Miss, and Ole Miss has a team. They're the 9th ranked team, and Georgia's 2nd. That might actually be a decent game. Man, Ole Miss and Georgia,
SEC.
SEC. It could be a test for Georgia, but I just think that Georgia they too strong, man. Because they got defense. One thing about them, they got defense, and Ole Miss. I'm not taking them from them because they got a good team. They really do, but I don't think it's enough to beat Georgia. So, but I'm definitely want to see that game. So that's the game I'm definitely going to see outside of the Michigan and Penn State game. I want to see that Georgia and Ole Miss game, and the Washington and Utah game. Those are 3 games that I got on my slate this week. I don't
You
see any
got
upsets.
you got the line for the Utah
Yeah, the
Washington.
Utah game is actually 9.5. Washington.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a lot.
If Washington covers, they might be in the top 4 next week.
Indeed. Especially if they dominate them. That's a hard cover, though.
Yeah, that's a hard cover.
That's a hard cover. You're talking about 9.5, bro.
I might take Utah.
I might take Utah for the points. Yeah,
but I like Washington to win.
I do too. And for the Georgia and Ole Miss, yes, that's what I expected. 10.5. Georgia 10.5, and I honestly think they'll cover that.
I think they'll cover it too.
I think that's going to. I hate to say, I think they're going to destroy them dudes, man.
I don't know that they'll destroy them, but I think they're going to win by at least 11.
Man, I do too.
I'll say that.
I wouldn't be surprised they beat them 31-10. I'm gonna put a crazy score out there. 21. I got them winning by at least 20 and better. Yeah. So if I'm a betting man, I'm definitely taking the points all day with Georgia. All day.
All right. Well, we are in lockstep on that one for the most part. All right. So we'll move on a little bit. Mention a couple things. Obviously, you and I are both professional wrestling fans. We both like the WWE. They just had a big one this past weekend, Crown Jewel. I'll just mention the winners: Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins, Rhea Ripley, Solo Sikoa, Logan Paul, who now and
Yep.
beating Rey Mysterio, Logan Paul. That's right, that Logan Paul.
Yes, sir.
He has the United States title.
He does.
So
And he stole with some
that's
brass
another
knuckles.
feather in his cap. Io Sky, which by the way, she has the best entrance music, I think, in all WWE. Love Io Sky. YouTube it later. Io Sky, it's called Tokyo Shock. It's
Tokyo
pretty
shot.
dope. Tokyo Shock. Io Sky's entrance music. Pretty good. She beat Bianca Belair.
Is she?
Yeah. Cody Rhodes was the winner. And of course, still
Roman.
with the
Yeah.
streak going on,
Yeah.
Roman Reigns over LA Knight. So the next big one is Survivor Series. So we'll update you when that comes around.
Yes, sir.
What else? Congratulations to Dave Blaney. He won the NASCAR Cup this past weekend. It's his first championship in the NASCAR series. So congratulations to him. Now, before we get to talking about the NFL, I know you want to talk about your boys a little bit this past weekend against Philly. I want to talk about my boys
Yes, sir.
heading into tomorrow's game because
Yes,
Justin
sir.
Fields is officially not playing tomorrow.
He's not?
And a lot of people thought he would. He's not. I think that's a negative. I'll get into that.
Yes, sir.
But so the NFL announced today they sent out a memo to the NCAA making it official starting this coming year, 2024. So it's right away. They are allowing underclassmen to participate in the All-Star Bowl games, which means that the big All-Star Bowl game is the Senior Bowl.
Yes.
You can be a junior and participate in the Senior Bowl.
Wow.
So which the positive and negative is
Right.
the positive is easy because now you're going to see the stars that are juniors that people would say if you came out right now you'd be a top first round pick, second round pick. Well, now they can put their stuff out there as long as they don't hire an agent.
Indeed.
They can put their stuff out there and still come back to school, or they can see all the feedback that they're getting and be like, you know what, I was on the border. Now I can actually go declare myself, hire an agent, and declare myself NFL eligible. The downside is that, as far as I know, I don't think that they will be expanding the roster for the Senior Bowl, which means every junior you let in is a senior that can't get called in. So, for example, a guy like Tyson Bagent, who's started the last 3 weeks for the Bears, he was an undrafted rookie, but he participated in the Senior Bowl last year. And who coached one of the teams on the Senior Bowl? Luke Getsy. Luke Getsy is the offensive coordinator for the Bears. So he puts in a word with Ryan Poles, and even though he doesn't get drafted, he gets signed the very next day by the Bears. Guys like him are going to fall through the cracks now because they're not going to get the invite because they're not expected to be high draft picks. So you're going to get some of these underclassmen, which are juniors. Okay, it's called underclassmen, and they're going to be juniors because you got to be 3 years removed from high school to be allowed in the NFL. So typically you're a junior when that happens. So they're going to be juniors that are going to be invited to go to the Senior Bowl. This is good. This is bad. This is polarizing. It's exciting. So I want to get your thoughts on hearing that underclassmen now. And there are other all-star bowl games, but the Senior Bowl is the big one. The Senior Bowl has got all teams in the NFL represented by their scouts and a couple coaches, and the GM might be there, but every team is represented. You're going to have NFL coaches coaching those guys the week leading up to the game and the day of the game. So now they're going to be coaching underclassmen, juniors that might come out either that year or the very next year. And I already told you the negative. So what's your thought on this?
Oh man.
Yay, nay, gonna wait and see, excited. What you feeling?
I mean, I'm always excited when I see that 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 when these old leagues start to expand and kind of get with the times, because these athletes are not the same athletes from back in the day. I can honestly say that you got to think a lot of these athletes been going through AAU. They come up season, man. So by the time they hit the NFL, they're a lot more advanced, as you can see, like the CJ Strouds, right? There's no surprise that these athletes could come into the league and do so well because the level of comp. Yes, indeed, you're playing grown men, right? But they've been playing since they was in Pop Warner, man. AAU, top competition. So the competition level is not really a disparity there. You know what I mean? So if the junior could think about a lot of these juniors is making noise, man. They really are. And the only thing that is knocking them is the fact that they're not seniors, you know. But talent wise, they're bringing it. They're bringing it. So for me, I think it's a great thing. I think it's competitive. It's going to up the level of competition because once again, like you said, the senior that slips through the crack, hey man, you got to step up, knowing that this junior could possibly get in and fill it in and get in, open the eyes of some NFL teams, right, and possibly get drafted. I'm a competition guy all day long, man. That I believe that competition is going to either break you or make you, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I'm 100% for it because I think it's going to raise a level of competition. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Knowing that, hey man, I gotta really put in some good film, some good resume for my senior year because this junior, my underclassman, could possibly take my spot. You know. Now, far as them going to the league as a junior, that's still questionable. That's still questionable because it's still a thing of maturity. A lot of these teams is about when you meet these owners and you sit down with these organizations, it's the maturity aspect because you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have the maturity, they won't even consider drafting you, bro. And I know this character. You go from one to like what was my man? Was it Tunzel when he had this? We smoked out the freaking mask, and he
Tunzel,
went
yeah,
into a one and he dropped just because of that.
that was nuts.
That was crazy,
Didn't
bro.
hear about that until 5 minutes before the draft is
That
about to
part.
start.
And he dropped. And he was gonna go number one. So imagine a junior. Okay. But far as them putting that rule in, man, I'm 100% for it because I'm all about expansion. I'm about evolution. I love seeing games evolve. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, the game got to evolve. It has to. That's just the way of the world. We're in a computer world. Next thing you know, we'll be talking through holographs. It's coming. We'll be
Right.
flying cars. So that's where we're going. That honestly.
Well, one of the things that might help seniors a little bit with these underclassmen coming up is the NIL money,
Hmm.
name, image, likeness.
Indeed.
Some of these guys are going to be like, listen, uh, I got another year to qualify to raise my stock. In the meantime, I'm getting paid.
Ain't that the
I'm
truth?
getting I am not officially a professional athlete. I'm still amateur, but I'm getting paid. I got this NIL money. No sweat. No need to rush. A lot of these guys declare early because they want to take care of their family.
Indeed.
They come from nothing and they want that big check right away. But you're getting this NIL money. Now you're walking around with some money in your
That's
pocket.
a fact. That's a
It's
fact.
not everybody's making hundreds of thousands of dollars, but a lot of these guys are getting, a few thousand a month versus used to get nothing.
That's a fact.
So yeah, you got enough to walk around and get yourself a sandwich when you're hungry and get your girl a sandwich when she's hungry. That, when you're a simple folk like I am, and I don't mean simple like, not smart. I mean simple like simple things. I still take enjoyment from simple things. That'll go a long way for me. I always said I don't need to be rich. I certainly don't need to be wealthy. I
Hmm.
just need the little things that I like in my life.
Indeed.
If I
Indeed.
have them, then I want for nothing. I really do. For the most part, I want for nothing. I
Mm-hmm.
have 95% of what I want in my life right now. I'm living my best life. My life got better when we started this podcast.
That's what I'm talking about,
That's
brother.
true.
That's
That's the
what I'm
truth.
talking about, my brother.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
So we're pretty much in agreement. I feel bad for a senior. I feel bad for the next Tyson Bagent that's not going to get his shot, but it's not personal. It's just business.
Business,
If you
man.
put the tape out
Business.
there, your work will speak for itself.
You
It's
know,
like anybody else in any kind of profession. You apply, you got your resume,
yeah,
they want you or they don't.
yeah.
They want,
Straight up.
do they want the struggling actor who's never gotten a gig before? And this is his first movie where all he's ever done is a couple of commercials. He's been pretty good in those commercials, but they're commercials. Or do you want Leonardo DiCaprio?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like
I'm just saying.
one guy's got the resume, the other guy, he's
Hey,
got to keep working on it.
you're right about that.
It's like everything else. It's like everything else. You apply for it and you're either good enough or you're not, or there's other leagues. There's
You're
NFL
right. You got
Europe,
the AFL. You got
there's
the
Canada,
Watch League.
and
Yeah.
there's the
Yup.
XFL, and there's that kind of stuff, and you build yourself up. Or
Mhm.
guess what? Be a fifth-year senior. Come back. Peyton Manning did it.
You definitely did.
So
You
you
definitely
can
did.
there's ways to build yourself up. All right, now we're gonna go into the NFL now. Before we do our picks, I want to go back and hear your thoughts on the game with your Cowboys against the Philadelphia Eagles. And then from there, I'll give my thoughts on the current state of what the Chicago Bears are doing going into the game tomorrow. And then we'll do our picks.
All right. To my boys, I don't do moral victories, man. I'm not into moral victories, man. I'm about wins and losses, brother. And once again, we lost. I don't care about that we almost beat them, that we made a competitive game, that we if coulda woulda we if was a fifth we all be drunk, right? Exactly. Dak Prescott is who he is. Yeah, I mean, he is who he is, man. Like if I told you this already, if it's a big game, a major game, a significant game, we have a good defense. We have a good defense. Okay, we have playmakers. Okay, I don't know why our quarterback just is when Troy Aikman was our quarterback, and I'm going back to the '90s when I fell in love with the Cowboys. Okay, because people always ask me, "Well, how are you a Cowboy fan? You ever been to Texas?" No, I ain't never been to Texas. I probably wouldn't even ever live in Texas. Too high. But when I liked football in the '90s, I'm just being honest, brother. I wouldn't want to live in Texas hot. You feel me? So when I was a fan in the '90s, Jim Johnson was our coach. Emmitt Smith, playmaker Michael Irvin. I could go on and on about our squad, bro. Troy Aikman, okay? I didn't worry about them 90 Cowboys because one thing I knew about my quarterback is that he had ice in his veins and we were going to win, okay? We pummeled jokers when it came down to big games. We pummeled them. We came to play, okay? You know how I was. It's rocking it deep. You're daggone right. Him with the stars. I don't have the same confidence in my quarterback, man. I don't. It's always that. It's always we coulda won, and that he played a decent game, but never the. Come on, man. No, I mean, it's rough. Keep losing to Philly, bro. Okay, for Philly fans, that's their Super Bowl. They beat the Cowboys. It's always been their Super Bowl. For us, we expect to go to a Super Bowl. We haven't been to a Super Bowl since Barry Switzer was our coach, man. So for me, like I said, I don't do moral victories. I knew we were going to lose. I hate to say that we were going to lose, but I knew we were going to lose. I hate betting against my team, but I'm a realist too. I'm not one of them skip guy, Bayless guy. I'm not him.
Yeah.
I'm not him. I'm not Cocoa for Cocoa Puffs. And as soon as we win, it's Super Bowl now. No, man. Come on, man. What team are you watching?
Right.
Dak Prescott's our quarterback. Okay. He's not a big game type of quarterback. He's not. So we're going to go as far as our quarterback allows us to go. We have a good defense that could possibly win us a game, but we're only going to go as far as our quarterback. And I mean, it was what it was, brother. It's disappointing that we lost to the Eagles. We're still going to be one of the better teams in the NFC. If you're looking at the NFC is piling up, because think about it, South. Who cares who wins that division?
Mm-hmm.
New Orleans will probably come out of that division only by default, right? The West is taking a little stumble with San Fran, and we've seen what the West will do with the AFC, because Seattle just got destroyed by Baltimore. Destroyed, wasn't even a game, right? And then you got the Lions kind of running away with that division, y'all division, So outside of them teams I just named, you got the Eagles. I still think San Fran's a liable team. And we could possibly be a team that could go to the Super Bowl, right, if the chips fall. But I don't see us beating San Fran and San Fran. I don't see us beating Philly again in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about my team in that particular game. What about you and your Giants? William, I'm sorry. I disrespected you. You and your Bears. Well, y'all in the same category, kind of. But
there aren't too many teams where you could disrespect my team, but
yeah, the Giants disrespect.
By the way, that's who you're playing this week, so I think you're going to get over this loss. I think you're going to be just fine.
Yeah.
Listen, just to comment back on what you were talking about with your team, it's so funny how Dak can have such a good game, but we talk about the misses when it counted. The incompletes or the not managing the clock or this past week, part of his foot stepping out of bounds.
Yeah.
I personally think I don't really hold that too much against him, because I think the angle of which the defender was coming, I think he had to take it as wide as he could.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if he would have had that foot in bounds, I think his momentum would have taken him out. So I don't think he would have scored either way, personally. But it just always seems like it's something with Dak.
Indeed.
It just always seems like even when he's good, when it's against a good team, I gotta have it. He's gonna make a bonehead play somewhere along the line, and it's usually late when this happens.
That's a fact.
So that was the take, because it looked like Philly had it in hand, and then all of a sudden, the Cowboys are down. They're at the 10-yard line. The clock's not really an issue, and they couldn't get it in. They couldn't do it. They couldn't get it in. That's the story of the Cowboys. Good enough to just be good enough, but not good enough to take you to the promised land.
There you go.
And you're right. They haven't won since technically the year was 1996. It was the 5 season. But the Super Bowl was in 96, and it was Barry Switzer, but it was with Jimmy Johnson players.
You're right. You're right.
Jimmy Johnson players.
Yeah.
And more people discredit Barry Switzer for losing the year before to San Francisco with Jimmy Johnson players. They're like, how could you screw that up? They were better, and you let San Francisco go up to like 21-0 in that game before Dallas fought back. Switzer, I mean, he got that Super Bowl for you guys, but it was Jimmy. Jimmy Johnson had fingerprints all over that. That's why he's in the Hall of Fame.
Indeed.
And Switzer's not, because Switzer doesn't Switzer also have a college championship too with Oklahoma?
What about that, Oklahoma?
And he's got the one with the Cowboys.
And the Cowboys.
Nobody ever talks about him sniffing the Hall of Fame.
No.
It is what it is. Now, as far as my guys go, my Chicago Bears, it's been reported today that Tyson Bagent will get his 4th start. Everybody thought that this was the week that Justin Fields was going to come back. He is not medically cleared yet. Some people will say, well, this is good. It gives them, after this game, a week and a half. It's against Carolina, so you all are probably going to win anyway, and there aren't too many games you could pencil in as a win for the rest of the year, and that's true. And it would be the last time probably for Tyson Bagent to start a game for a while.
Yeah.
The flip side is, what are the Bears planning to do with Justin Fields in this offseason? This is one of the games where Justin Fields could have showed up and showed out. Now he's not going to perform. There aren't going to be too many games where the Bears are going to be penciled in for a W.
That's a fact.
The whole thing with him is his inconsistency. Sometimes he looks like a Pro Bowler, and other times he looks like a guy that should be coming off the bench, like a Taysom Hill or something like that. What is he? Is he a franchise player? Is he a starter, or is he a guy on the bench? Fields needs to put good tape out there for himself, because if the Bears are going to move on, he wants good tape for the team that wants to come get him.
Indeed.
And if he wants to stay with the Bears, he's got to convince Ryan Poles that he is a better fit for whatever system, whether they keep Eberflus or not, whether they keep Luke Getsy or not. He's a better fit going into year 4, year 3 under him, but year 4 in total, and getting that 5th-year option than drafting one of these young guys like Caleb Williams or Drake May and things like that. So either way, it is not benefiting Justin Fields not to play, especially against a team where he was expected to have a good game, to probably win. That's one less game that he's going to have good tape on. So I'm disappointed in him for that. And I'm disappointed for myself because I love Justin Fields. I want him to stay. I want me personally, not saying it's going to happen, probably not going to happen because it's what I want. I want the Bears to keep Justin Fields, give him this 5th-year option. I want him to be there to 5 years, the full 5 years, before they make a decision to move on or not. Listen, there's always a quarterback every year. There's a quarterback every year.
That's a fact.
So I don't want to hear generational talent, because I keep hearing every few years this guy's generational. Well, you can't be generational if it's every few years.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I want to stick with Justin Fields. I want to know, hey, here's a suggestion. How about you call plays that he likes?
That part.
Here's a suggestion. How about you prioritize the offensive line?
That part.
How about you go draft a couple of guys high and sign a free agent, not just a guy who was a run-of-the-mill starter for a run-of-the-mill team. How about you overspend for a guy, okay? Because they need a center.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
And they can use a guard. They probably won't address guard because they signed one last year, and Jenkins, who is their swing guard, plays right and left. He's really their best offensive lineman in totality. So they're probably not going to go guard, but I would not mind them letting go of Nate Davis and getting another guard, because this guy never plays. Whether he's out for personal reasons or he's out for injury, he never plays. I think he's played 2 games this year, and he never really practiced in the offseason with the team anyway. So don't give me Nate Davis. And although I like Braxton Jones as the left tackle, he's run-of-the-mill average. You can upgrade there. So I think they need to bring in 2 offensive linemen for sure, maybe 3. You can upgrade a guard. You can upgrade a tackle. You got to get a center. You cannot have Patrick Lucas or a Cody Whitehair snapping that ball next year. You can't have it. Absolutely cannot have it. Can't have it. So upgrade the offensive line, run some plays that the quarterback likes. Stop trying to force feed him into being a pure pocket passer. And then you can finally get real information on whether he's the guy or not. Because, listen, we saw Caleb Williams. We saw him up. We saw him down. Now I got the fear with him that this guy is as interested in being a celebrity as much as he is being an NFL quarterback. I don't like that. And don't talk to me about Drake May, okay? Because let's be honest, people. Who is watching Carolina Tar Heel football? Go ahead, I'll wait. Not you.
I'm definitely not
Not
watching.
me. Okay? And not all these people that are Bear fans that say, oh, this is who I want. He looks so great. Blah, blah, blah. Listen, he looks great in a uniform. He's 6'4". He's good looking. He throws the ball so nice. He's got great footwork. Hey, you know what he doesn't have? A good school on his resume that he beat.
That's a fact.
Who did he beat? I
That's
don't
a
want to hear
fact.
how he looks at the Senior Bowl and how
Oh,
he looks at the Combine. We've seen all these guys.
yes, we
Remember
have.
Zach Wilson?
I do.
How good he looked?
I do.
But remember his resume where he didn't beat anybody good? And now the same thing with Drake May. I tell you what, you want me to be interested in Drake May? In a week and a half, North Carolina's playing Clemson.
Indeed.
That is the only good team on his resume this year. Go out there and put on a show. You don't even have to win. Just don't be the reason they lose. Put on a show. Be the guy that willed them and just came up short.
Mm-hmm.
Or better yet, how about you win the game? Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because this is an off year for Clemson. For them,
yes,
for how they usually have their program, this is an off year. I'm not going to say Clemson's good because they beat Notre Dame last week. Okay?
No.
Clemson, this is an off year for them. So go out there and put it on Clemson. Make a good game out of it because it's the only game I'm going to pay attention with you.
That's
okay?
fact.
I'm not taking this North Carolina quarterback that I didn't see when the Bears drafted a North Carolina quarterback in 2017 that I didn't see, and
Trubisky?
he didn't quite work out either. Trubisky.
Mitch Trubisky?
Trubisky.
Mitch Trubisky?
Trubisky.
I thought so.
Okay. So I'm not, the thing is, you learn from your mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Fool me once, shame on you.
Mm-hmm.
Fool me twice, shame on me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'm not falling for it again. So in order for the Bears, because they're going to get 2 high picks.
Indeed.
They're going to get one in the top 5, and they're going to get one either top 5 or just outside top 5. At worst, they're going to be 3 and 7. At worst. I think it's going to be like, because now Arizona's getting Murray back.
Yeah.
I think Carolina at worst is going to be getting like the number 2 pick.
Yeah.
So Drake May is probably in play. If we take Drake May, I got to see something from him against Clemson, or I don't want him. I don't want him. And I already don't want Caleb Williams. Whether he's the best or not, he's the guy that's going to make me angry. I can already tell. It's going to be hard to root for him, and it's going to be easy to get pissed off.
Right.
And he's already pissing me off.
I mean,
with some of the shenanigans. I personally did not like seeing him jump into the stands crying like a baby. I didn't like that. Okay? If you're going to be so emotional by playing hard and losing, guess what, buddy? You're getting drafted by a bad team. You're going to lose a lot next year. I don't need to see my quarterback doing that. I don't need to see it. I don't want to hear RG3 saying, oh, the passion. Blah. No, bro. This is big boy. This is big boy football.
Ain't the passion. Ain't the passion.
No.
Ain't the passion.
No. You know what I want to see you cry? When you win the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
That's when I want to see you cry. I'll deal with you crying when you get drafted. But that's it. I don't want to see you lose and see you jump up in the stands and start crying. Because all that shows me is that's like a LeBron. That's when you're in attention. Okay? All eyes on me. All eyes on me. Tupac's allowed to say that. Not Caleb Williams. That's all I have to say about that. Oh. Are you down for making some picks?
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
All right. Well, hey, guess what we're going to start with?
Let's go.
Thursday, 8:15, Amazon. Carolina Panthers, Chicago Bears in Chicago. Tyson Bagent will be starting. Bears, believe it or not, this will probably be the only time that you see this number for the rest of the year for the Bears. They are a 3.5 point favorite at home against the Carolina Panthers. What say you?
You know what, man? And I know why, because of what they just did with the New Orleans Saints. I think the Saints came out flat and didn't really take them seriously enough. And it's crazy, I might say this, man, but I actually like Carolina for the points. I actually like the Panthers for the points, man. And they probably could beat y'all. I don't know how y'all would be being a favorite. Y'all so used to being like the underdog that I don't know how y'all would favor be in the favorite spot. So I'm actually going to lean towards Carolina in this particular game. Um, yeah, I know they're 1-7. And by right y'all should steamroll them. Honestly, for what I've seen compared to what they've seen, but I don't know. So I'm gonna go with actually Carolina just for the points. Y'all might possibly win the game. I'm just gonna go with the points for Carolina.
I'm going to disagree. I'm going to go Chicago, and they're going to win outright. They're going to cover the points. Listen, I watched a whole lot of that game against New Orleans last week. Chicago outplayed New
They
Orleans.
did.
The fourth quarter, believe it or not, it was pretty 50-50, but they kept turning the ball over.
Mm-hmm.
They kept turning it over. They had 4 turnovers. Tyson Bagent threw 3 interceptions, and he fumbled. They outplayed New Orleans. But when you're a bad team, you can't beat yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think happened. They were more than in that game. They were winning that game. They were in control of that game. It was tied at the half, that game. They had every opportunity, but in the fourth quarter, when they had to have it time and time again, they couldn't get it done. I get it, but this is Carolina. They don't put up a lot of points. If the Bears do what they did against the Raiders and just take what's given to them, a couple of deep shots, but play conservative, Chicago will control this game. The defense will have a good game, and the Bears will easily cover this 3.5. It may not be a high scoring game. This may be like a 17-10 kind of game, but they're going to cover that number. This is one of the few times I got the W for the Bears. If they don't win this game, I can't guarantee I'm going to pick them to win any other game, points or no points. So I've always had Chicago winning this game. I need Chicago to win this game because I need Carolina to have as bad of a record as possible because they have Carolina's pick. So I'm going with Chicago there. Sunday, 9:30 a.m., NFL Network, Indianapolis Colts, New England Patriots. Technically, New England is the home team, technically. But they are a 1.5 point underdog to the Colts.
Oh man, the Patriots are a disappointment, man. And I really, really fell asleep on that game with the Commanders, man. You know what? I thought about it after I, put my little ticket in. I thought about afterwards. I said the whole slate of the games, which one's the most winnable game? Who's supposed to win? Was the Patriot game? And I said watch because I thought the Commanders was dispatching team, breaking it down. Looking forward to next year. Okay, I really did, and I got caught with the banana tailpipe. Because they came to play. They came to play.
Wait, hold on a minute. Can you explain to me this banana tailpipe thing?
Oh man, it's a cliche, right? And what they're saying,
I never heard it before until you said it.
You never heard it before. You never heard banana tailpipe?
And I just got to know what it means. Does that mean
it's
you're
more
putting
like
the banana in the tailpipe?
It's like a trick. It's like you expect the car to go, but somebody slipped the banana in your tailpipe, so now your whole thing then blew up in front of you. So you expect it to go, but it's just so you got caught with the flim flam. They call it the flim flam. You got caught with the trickery. It's trickery. So many words.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I fell for that.
The trickery. I got it.
It's trickery, man. I fell for the trickery, man. The Commanders, Patriots shouldn't have lost that game, bro. Oh my God. I don't know. Bill Belichick needed a dance partner. His dance partner was Tom Brady. Okay, I'm starting to really lean towards the fact that I think Tom Brady was just what you call a generational talent. Okay, that's what I think. I think that you put a generational talent with a half decent coach, this is what you get, chips. Okay, because outside of that, we already alluded to and we just discussed, his record is terrible. Outside of that, you know what I mean? So. But this might be a crazy, I hate saying it, man. This might be the game they actually win. This is Minshew. I just think Gardner Minshew is going to have more turnovers. So I'm reluctantly taking the Patriots to win.
I agree. I actually thought you were going to take the Colts the way you were
No,
talking.
no, no,
But
no.
the Colts play hard, but I do notice that under Belichick,
Yeah,
now he had Tom
he
Brady,
did.
but under Belichick, he has had a lot of success against the Colts over the years. A lot. I know it's different players, no Tom Brady, but you're right. Minshew is one of those guys who gets turnover happy at times because he's trying to thread the
Hmm.
needle.
Hmm.
I could see this being a close game
Hmm.
and Minshew just going for it
That part.
late in the fourth
That
and
part.
having a couple turnovers. I could
Yup.
see him throwing 2 interceptions
Yup.
in the second half of the fourth quarter. I think New England wins outright. So,
Yup.
of course, I'm going to say they're going to cover the number. I mean, 1.5. How do
Pickle.
you
It's a
either
pickle.
it's a pick 'em. You got to just pick the winner at this point. So we're in agreement there, New England. 1 o'clock, Fox, divisional game.
Mhm.
Cleveland at Baltimore. Baltimore is
Whew.
favored by
Bro, I've been pondering this game, man. I've been pondering this game, right? Because I'm gonna tell you both my theories on this game, right? I don't. We have not seen the best of Deshaun Watson yet, and I'm afraid of that because in the past he has stepped up in big games, like games that were big. He has stepped up in the Houston days. I'm talking about the Houston Texans game days.
sure,
They have a
sure.
defense. They definitely have a defense. I said when these two teams in this division meet up, it's going to be a battle. Okay. For the last couple of years, Baltimore has kind of owned this rivalry a little bit between these two. Okay. Last time that they came to Baltimore, and I believe you said the line was six, right? 5.5, 6. Um,
6.
6 on the button, right? So to me,
Mm-hmm.
that's a push. To me, that's a push. I like Baltimore for the win. I like Baltimore for the win. I think they're clicking. I think that the offense is clicking. They'll probably lose Odell because Odell ain't durable. So I'm not banking on because of Odell. Their run game is coming. Cleveland run game is coming. You know what I mean? As we know, Cleveland has probably one of the best run stop defenses in the league. So they're going to try to take away what Baltimore does, but this is what Baltimore do. Okay. So I'm gonna go with the home team just because Cleveland is dominant at home. It's hard place. It's hard to beat Cleveland. I mean, I'm Baltimore. So but I still think it's gonna be a push. So you asking for the points, it's a push, in my opinion. But I'm gonna lean towards Baltimore.
Again, I'm in agreement with you. I'm definitely leaning towards Baltimore. And the thing about Watson is, like you said, he has not really played well since he's been in Cleveland. And I don't think he starts to have that breakout game in Baltimore because Baltimore at home is really good.
Yeah, they are.
So I think Baltimore will cover. I think it's going to look like for a while that they're
Mhm.
not going to cover because Cleveland does have a good defense. And right now, this can change. But right now, today, November 8th, I'm saying that Myles Garrett is the NFL Defensive Player of the Year. I think in a
Right now.
4-3 defense, he's the best defensive end in the league. I've said that for about 3 years now,
Yeah.
and I think this might be the year that he takes the award home. He's the front runner right now. If he gets injured, somebody gets hot, you know, obviously that can change. But right now, I think their defense with him leading the way because he's a wrecking machine.
Oh, he is, man.
He
Oh,
he single-handedly can keep this game close.
that's a fact.
Ultimately, though, and on the flip side, I think Lamar Jackson is playing his
Oh,
best football right now.
oh yeah.
I mean, he is
Oh
on
yeah.
point.
He's on fire right now, bro.
So I think Baltimore wins. Baltimore covers
Mhm.
ultimately, but I think it's going to be a good game for probably minimal 3 quarters.
I agree.
I don't think it'll be any kind of blowout
I
like
agree.
Baltimore's done against the last two good teams that came to Baltimore. All right, this game I have not been able to pick a winner yet, so
Okay.
I'm going to go. I'm telling you right now because I'm so 50-50 on it. I'm going to go opposite what you say.
Man, last time we
Just
did
so
this,
just so
last
we
time we
have
did this,
just so we're not agreeing on everything.
right.
Okay, Houston at
Oh,
Cincinnati, CBS.
I already know I'm going this
Cincinnati
one.
is a 7-point favorite.
I know I'm going this one, brother. I already know I'm going Cincinnati 100%. 100%. It's Burrow ball now. This is what they do. Like this is where they get the clicking. I know that Houston and CJ Stroud's playing at a tremendous level right now as a rookie. I mean, tremendous. He only had like I think one turnover, one turnover. He put up 470 last week against Tampa Bay. But you're talking about him going against Joe Burrow, okay? Ice. I'll call him Iceman. Yeah, like off of Maverick, like Top Gun. He's Iceman to me. You know what I mean? He gets better. And in Cincinnati, man, once they get rolling, you're going to start to see the talent discrepancy. You're going to see why Cincinnati in that division is a lot tougher than Houston in their division. And you're going to see the big dog going against the little dog. Not taking nothing. I think D'Amico Ryans is doing a tremendous job in Houston, bro. But it's a different animal going to Cincinnati playing Burrow when they get to clicking. When him and that coach get to clicking, it could get ugly, like fast. So I actually see that 7 easily coverable. Real talk. They might get blown out there in Cincinnati, man, to be honest. So I'm definitely taking Cincinnati.
Well, because you're taking Cincinnati, I'm going to take Houston. Now, the reason why this was so tough for me, to me, how you reacted, like you knew right away. To me, that's what it looks like to me. It looks like this is too easy. It's Cincinnati for sure. They just beat Buffalo. They just beat San Francisco. Both of those teams are better than Houston, and Cincinnati's at home. But these are the kind of games that you're like, man, I was so sure. I didn't even really think about it, and I got it wrong.
That's a fact.
Now, to be fair, I do think Cincinnati's going to win. I just don't think they're going to win by 7. I think this is one of those games where you're like, man, this was an easy win for me. I played this ticket, I just assumed it.
That's a fact.
And they didn't cover. How'd that happen?
Last time we did this, last time we did it, I was on the wrong side of the coin. It was between Jacksonville and Pittsburgh. And I thought Pittsburgh was going to win. And I said, man, Gil was right. And she said he's going to take the opposite, and the opposite won. So you could be totally correct. You know, I was looking at the 7.5 number, and I was like, as good as Houston played, why are they making this a 7.5 point number? That's the only thing that kind of made me lean towards Cincinnati even more because of the number. Because I'm like, 7.5 is a lot, especially with the way that CJ Stroud just played and putting up that the numbers he put up, and it's still 7.5. I don't know. Because now I would lean towards Houston for the points.
Right? Do it.
No, I'm going with Cincinnati, but I'm just saying that Kaiser better would be like, oh, I'm taking Cincinnati, I'm taking Houston because I'm getting 7.5. You know what I mean?
Right now, I got 7. So
that's a touchdown. So that's a push. So they're like, I'll take the 7. I ain't got to worry about the hooker. You know?
I don't have a hook. I don't have the half.
Yeah.
So I got a flat 7. You could check it come Friday, but. So I'm going to go Houston for that reason. It just seems too easy. I think Cincinnati will win. Houston for the point. Houston is the winner. Okay, same thing with this next game. I told myself, whatever you pick, I'm going to do the opposite.
Probably a hard one.
Oh no, wait, is it the next? No, it's not the next game. Sorry. I'll let you know. I got 2 more games like that.
Okay.
Whatever you're picking, I'm going to do the opposite, but not this next one. San Francisco at Jacksonville. Fox. Jacksonville is a 3-point underdog.
Indeed. Jacksonville playing good football, brother. They have been, but I think this is actually the bounce back game for San Fran. They get Devo back. I heard Devo coming back. Brock Purdy has looked human the last 3 games. I just think it's a good spot for them to really kind of go down there and show you that they are still a contender, that they're still one of the better teams in the NFC. And this could be a spot where Jacksonville could lose. So I'm going to take San Fran. I'm going to take San Fran in this spot right here.
We're in agreement. San Francisco, I don't think they lose another one. Jacksonville is good, but Jacksonville is used to playing a weak division.
Right.
And I don't really count so much. I don't put too much credence in the fact they beat Buffalo overseas. This will be a real test. Yeah, they're at home. But San Francisco's physical. If they play physical on offense and defense, I don't think Jacksonville is ready for that. I think San Francisco might actually win kind of big.
Yeah, me too, brother.
I think they're going to win by more than 3. I'll tell you that. So I'm going to go San Francisco
Yeah.
for this one as well as you. Okay, New Orleans at Minnesota. Tricky game.
That's one.
But
Now this is a tricky one.
Minnesota is a 2.5-point underdog at home against New Orleans.
This is a tricky one for me, brother. I'm gonna tell you why it's tricky for me, right? Congratulations, Dobbs, for stepping in like he did and beat Atlanta, right? Um, I was wrong on Atlanta side. I thought Heineke was going to be able to get the pieces to the ball to the pieces they had.
You and everybody else.
Yeah, I really did. I dropped the ball, but who would have known that the other quarterback would have got injured the first series? Okay, so that's what I was going off of. I was going off Dobbs going in there. Because if you tell me Dobbs would have started, I would have went with Minnesota all day long. I promise y'all would. But in this case, it's like Cincinnati, one of them teams, man, where I don't trust Carr and I don't trust the coach. I don't trust Dennis. I don't like the coach. So for me, I'm going Minnesota at home. I do not trust New Orleans, man. They like a bad dream, man. It's like as soon as you think they're going to win, they'll lose. So give me, just like when they went to Houston and lost, they were supposed to beat Houston. Give me Minnesota, man, the spot. And I think Saints have the better defense, but give me Minnesota in the spot right here.
I don't know that they got the better defense. I really don't. Like I said, the Bears shot themselves in the foot last.
Y'all should have won that game.
I think they should have too, but
you
got to take care of the ball. You got to take care of the ball. You can't be -4 and come out a winner. I'm going to pick New Orleans here. Both have pretty good defenses. Both are probably pretty low scoring. I'm going to say that the Cinderella fairy tale for Dobbs, which should have never happened. The guy was there for 3 days and he wins. I don't even know how that happened. But what did happen is he put a little tape out there for New Orleans to see. I think New Orleans is the better team because they have the better quarterback combination. I think Minnesota has a little advantage at head coach, but that's a bit about it. You got to think, all of a sudden now we're giving all this credit to Dobbs. Do you read in the span of a year and a half, this is his 5th different team?
Yeah.
In a year and a half. From September of 22 to November of 23, this is his 5th different team. Arizona got rid of him a week earlier than they should have. Whatever. I'm going to go New Orleans because I think they're the better team. They're used to playing in a dome, so that kind of atmosphere isn't going to affect them as much. I just think offensively, Minnesota is really, really going to struggle. Now, there's talk that Justin Jefferson might come back this game. If it was Kirk Cousins, it'd be a different story.
Yeah, you're right about that.
But it's Dobbs. He hasn't been able to work with him.
That's a fact.
So I'm gonna go New Orleans to win and cover the 2.5. Green Bay. Oh, how much I love them. At Pittsburgh, CBS. Pittsburgh is favored by 3 at home.
Oh my God, bro! It's one of them games where Pittsburgh's supposed to win. And I'm not a fan of Jordan Love at all. The Rams just have to be just terrible because their quarterback, as he got fired and waived, as he should, because there's no way in heck y'all should have lost that game that way to Green Bay. Aaron Jones is back. He makes a huge difference. I'm not really cool with Pickett in that tandem. I'm just not sold on Kenny Pickett. I think that they have a defense in Pittsburgh. It's a funny game for me, man. And my only reason why I would lean towards Pittsburgh is because I don't trust Love. You feel me? So I'm going to just go with Pittsburgh. I'm just going to go with Pittsburgh, the home team. Not a strong pick.
I'm going with Pittsburgh as well.
Yeah, it's not a strong pick.
It's not a strong pick, but Pittsburgh, at least at home, is finding a way to beat good teams. They beat Baltimore when Baltimore had a good lead on them, and Baltimore is better than Green Bay. I don't see Pittsburgh jumping on Green Bay and Green Bay coming back. Not in Pittsburgh. If it was Green Bay, that might be a different story.
Right.
But Pittsburgh has a very good home field advantage. I think that's going to rattle Jordan Love a little bit. I think Pittsburgh wins and they cover. All right. This is another game I couldn't pick. So whoever you're picking, I'm just going to do the opposite. I'm not going to overanalyze it. Tennessee
I already knew it.
Tampa Bay. CBS. Tampa Bay at home is a 1-point favorite.
1 point favorite at
1
home.
point favorite.
The trends have been that the home teams have been covering. Baker Mayfield, Will Levis, Derrick Henry, Tennessee. No defense to bring pressure. Give me Will Levis to Tennessee on the road. I'll just take Tennessee.
I thought you were going to take Tampa, and I was like, man, he's taking Tampa. I kind of want Tampa. Oh, I get to pick Tampa.
Yeah.
It was very close for me, but and I could have easily talked myself into Tennessee. So I'm going to take Tampa just because it's the opposite pick from you. Don't need to go too much into it.
Yeah.
I'm not a Baker Mayfield fan. Jury's still out on Levis. I tell you what, he's looked good these first 2 weeks, and he's already been named a starter for the rest of the year. So I guess if you want to get in your head, have the fans in Tampa Bay buy themselves a jar of Hellman's mayonnaise, and when he's in the red zone, just shake it up, because we know he's got a phobia to mayonnaise, which is one of the strangest phobias I've ever heard
about that.
It is what it is.
I got tortured as a kid.
I got a phobia too, but I don't go around talking about it, so no one's ever gonna. And I don't think it's as weird as a fear of mayonnaise. I digress. 4:05, we got Atlanta, who blew it last week against Arizona. Arizona is a 1.5-point underdog at home. You would think it'd be more since they've only got one win this year, but it looks like it might be the return of Murray this week.
Okay. I mean, it's not Kyler Murray this way in my pick here. I'm just gonna go with the home team because I'm just not sold on Atlanta. And Arizona has fought, in a lot of games. They just blew it in the fourth quarter, So
they fight a lot.
They fight a lot. So I don't know, with Kyler being back, it would give them a boost, or they're just like it could change the dynamic of it. You know what I mean? Because they could have been like, I really don't want to play for this a-hole. Excuse me, America. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna go with my original picks to the Cardinals. Once again, it's not an easy pick, but I'll go with the Cardinals.
Yeah, it's a tough one, but I'm gonna go Atlanta. I think Atlanta's just got a better roster.
They do.
And I got to see Murray come back and play well before I'm just gonna assume that that they're going to win close games that they would have lost previous to him coming. We also with Deshaun Watson, he came to Cleveland. He didn't make them any better. He assumed last year when Cleveland was losing these close games, he was going to show up and he would put them over the top. He didn't do that. No. And he hasn't done it this year either. And with all the talk about Arizona, if they get the number 1 pick or number 2 pick, how they might take one of these quarterbacks, I don't know if Murray's mentally strong enough to be able to take that kind of criticism. He couldn't take the criticism last year with the playbook thing. So I think Atlanta, if they get their head out of their rear end and give Bijan Robinson the ball,
yes, sir,
like they should, instead of making him a gadget player, I don't know what they're doing. The guy should have 20 touches a game between carries and in the passing play. They are not utilizing him. That's another head coach that might be on the hot seat if they finish under 500 because there's too much talent on that team. They got a good wide receiver. They got a good tight end. They got 2 good running backs. No, I'm not. No, they need to win this game. They got the better roster. I don't care that they're on the road. They need to win. They need to cover. It's Atlanta for me. So we see it different. Detroit at the LA Chargers. Pretty good game. CBS. Chargers are a 3-point favorite.
I like Detroit. I like Detroit. I'm not convinced, man. They beat the Jets. It wasn't a convincing win. The score was more deceiving than what it was. It was because the Jets offense is just that bad with Zach Wilson, and we know this. We know he's not Aaron Rodgers. Their defense only played but so well. I think that Detroit has a more balanced team because they're going to hit you with one. Jared Goff, man, is comfortable in that system. That's his team. He got two running backs, he has receivers, and he has tight ends, and he's got a better team. And we know that, as you know, Shirley probably won't be there after this year, bro. So I'm not getting fooled by the fool's gold, bro. Yes, the defense did play good against the Jets. I give them that. But I like that. I like Detroit, man. It's no brainer for me. I like Detroit.
It
And
was
a
a
few
no.
points too.
It's 3 point. Chargers
Yeah.
are a 3 point dog at home.
Oh, a dog at home?
Dog. Three
Oh, it
point
don't
dog.
matter. Okay, the underdog don't matter. Give me Detroit.
I got Detroit too. I think they're the better team.
Yes, sir.
I kind of like the head coach of Detroit. I can't stand the head coach of the Chargers. I love the quarterback, but they're one of those teams that I just feel like just kind of they underachieve. They consistently underachieve. I
Right.
think Detroit. And I tell you something else. It looks like these Detroit Lions fans are traveling with the team.
They are. They
So
are.
I think this will be another one of those games where you're going to hear more Lions fans than you will Charger fans. So I got Detroit winning. I got them covering. Moving on from that. Okay. If we're not in agreement with this game, then I don't even know what to say.
Right.
New York Giants, 425 at the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys at home are a 16.5 point favorite. I'm just going to get mine out there right now. It could be 26.5 point
Right.
favorite. I'd be going Dallas.
Brother,
Dallas just has to show up, and I think they win this by 21.
brother, I ain't got to go into more detail, man. This is a game where Dak Prescott looked like he should be the league MVP. Okay, easy money game, man. Our defense has probably scored 2 touchdowns. So I'm good. Give me Dallas. I don't got to elaborate no further. They're playing the Giants, man. They're bad, man. They have nothing to compete with us. So
They're real bad.
give me the Cowboys, man. We can move on.
Okay. Washington at Seattle, Fox. Seattle is a 6 point favorite. This was the last game that I could not pick. So whatever you're picking, I'm doing.
It's a hard one. It's definitely a hard one, man, because the commanders showed me a little something out there, man. I thought he was like tossing in, but I see they haven't. But
they're coming off a win.
they are
Seattle's coming off of
a loss, right? It's a bad loss. So I actually like Seattle in this spot, man. Give me Seattle. And then Commanders got to go all the way out to Seattle and play them too. This might be a game where Howell, man, actually has a couple turnovers, and it could be sloppy play on the Commanders. So just give me Seattle, and they'll probably win by a touchdown. So they'll probably just cover.
I'm gonna go Washington then because it was real tight, and like you said, Washington showed me a little bit. If they have any pride in, they're trying to keep their coach employed, they're going to come out and play. I think Seattle wins. I don't think they cover. I wouldn't surprise me if it comes down to a field goal, game field goal to end it. I think Washington covers the number. So I'm going to go with Washington. Seattle to win the game, though, outright. Okay, the night game. 8:20 NBC. New York Jets coming off of a bad loss against the Las Vegas Raiders, coming off of a very good win. I have it as a pick 'em right now. I have no line. So I'm just going to do straight up as far as our picks go. For me, I got Vegas easily.
Me too.
I'm just going off of recent history.
Yes, sir.
Zach Wilson stinks.
Yes, sir.
Unless the Jets get 3 turnovers and they cash in on points off of 2 of them, minimal, I just don't see the Jets being able to score enough points. The quarterback stinks. He's terrible, and you can't run the ball on every play, despite how good their running backs are, and their offensive line is bad now. So I'm gonna go Vegas. They're feeling themselves. Antonio Pierce has them, motivated. I think Vegas wins, and they're gonna win by at least 3.
Yeah.
If it's a pick 'em now, then it's gonna be probably no more than 3 when it finally comes out, and I think Las Vegas is gonna cover that easy. Give me the Las Vegas Raiders at home over the New York Jets.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you, man. If Zach Wilson was a better quarterback, and I'd say, okay, this is a bounce back spot for him. He'll come out, and this will be a game where he actually win. I don't believe that's going to happen. Okay, and like you said, I think that Antonio Pierce got them boys motivated, man. They come to play. I think that's what they needed. They need to get rid of Josh McDaniels because I've been calling for his head to go. I'd say he's a terrible head coach. He was a terrible head coach out of Denver, and he was a terrible head coach out of Las Vegas. How a team that went to the playoffs before he got there, and then you put it all on Derek Carr. I'm not saying Derek Carr was a top level quarterback, but he was serviceable. He got him to the playoffs. Okay. So, yeah, it's an easy one for me, man. Give me the Vegas Raiders, man. The Jets, now you can rock that debate about Aaron Rodgers coming to play back this season, man. It's over. There ain't no playoffs for the Jets this season, okay? So let Aaron Rodgers heal, and we'll work on next year possibly, okay? Thank you, New York media. We don't need to talk about him coming back. Not this year.
Real quick story that I heard this week. So apparently, and there's been enough people to verify this to be true. Before McDaniels got fired, he told Antonio Pierce, "Hey, listen, you're good at, being the rah-rah guy and stirring them up and motivating players and things like that." He's like, can you do a players only kind of meeting where you no coaches, and you be the only coach, and you go in there and motivate them, right? And so Antonio Pierce was saying how nobody believed in us when I played for the Giants, and we went out there and won the Super Bowl against the undefeated New England Patriots. It starts with believing in yourself, and it carries over to your teammate, on and on and on. Well, McDaniels heard about this, and he was none too pleased, and he said, "Don't ever bring up the New England Patriots like that again," because he was on that staff. He was on the staff for the Patriots. That was the year before or 2 years before he got the job at Denver. So he did not like that being an example. A couple of days later, guy's fired. It's funny how it works. Funny.
Yeah, that works.
So the last game, Monday night, 8:15 ABC, Denver at Buffalo.
Right, sir.
Buffalo is at home. They are a 7.5 point favorite.
I like Denver. I think Denver actually been playing better football. I can't trust Josh. Look, man, I got burnt too many times by Buffalo, man, with this number, bro. I'm not saying that Denver's going to win the game by far, but I just don't like the number. Not with Buffalo, because every time I say they're going to blow a team out, they don't perform, And right now, I think that Russell Wilson and Sean Payton is starting to get on a little rhythm, and the defense that's starting to play a lot better. So give me, just for the number, give me Denver.
I'm in 100% agreement. That half sealed it for me. Buffalo has been underachieving.
Yes.
I have not liked how they've covered the number. They're losing games that I thought they were going to win. I think they're going to beat Denver, but I don't think they're going to cover half. They're going to have to win by more than a touchdown. No, even against a bad team, and Denver is a bad team. I got to see it. I got to see them whoop a team they're supposed to whoop before I give them the benefit of a doubt. They've had big spreads before. here. 7.5, no way. Give me Denver with the number. Buffalo to win, Denver with the number. Now, those are our picks. I got 2 questions for you and a Netflix recommendation. Question number 1. As of right now, the season is half over. Either everybody's played 9 or 8 games. Season's half over. Who, up to this point, is your first half league MVP right now?
Oh, man.
Doesn't have to be to the end. Right now.
Right now?
Right now. Who was the first half?
First half, I would have to probably say, at this point, Lamar.
Yes.
I like the way Lamar is playing. So Lamar would be my MVP. Yep.
100% agreement.
100% Lamar.
100%. He is definitely.
He's been consistent.
Yeah.
Like,
I told you. I think this is the best I've ever seen him play.
Yeah. I can't think of another player outside of him that's playing at that level. Not consistently. No. Hurts is hobbled. Purdy look, normal. Mahomes is, he's not
quite
Mahomes type of game. Josh, I don't know. Burrow's starting to get rhythm, but he hasn't been consistently in rhythm. Who the only person you could say that's been consistently killing it? Lamar.
And when he's on, he's straight.
Oh man, he shows you what his value is. They got him on by wanting the money. We had this discussion about the NBA. We ain't worried about nobody getting their money. Once you get your money, right? He's showing you he's worth the money. Because look at him. They built the team around him. He makes that team go. He's exciting. He is the one you got to worry about. You know what I mean? We seen it. Huntley, I ain't taking nothing from you. Y'all got to the playoffs with BG. But you ain't Lamar. Lamar a different type of player, man. He's exciting. He is. And he'll burn you. He'll kill you. So, yeah, Lamar, for sure. Lamar.
Now, we're in agreement there. One more question. Up to this point, doesn't have to, you're not predicting for the end of the year. To this point, who's the best team?
Or the best team?
One team. Who's the best? Up to this point, half a season.
Best team at this point, half a season. Man, it's a hard one. I'm between 2 teams right now, honestly. And that's Philly. I'm with Philly. And I'm going to say Baltimore. Baltimore, Philly for me right now.
Me too. So which one?
I'm going to lean towards, only got 1 loss, and that was even a foo-foo little loss. Give me Philly. Give me Philly.
I'm gonna go with Baltimore. I got Philly a close second, and I got Kansas City third.
Yeah, I got Kansas City third.
They're that team that you always got to give the benefit out to. They still got the best quarterback. I'm gonna go with Baltimore because when they win, they really win.
Nah, they do.
And even though Philadelphia only has 1 loss, it's against a team they never should have lost to.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Now,
but Baltimore did lose to the Colts at home.
But the Colts, if the Colts play the Jets,
right?
Who do you have winning?
Where we at? If we in Indianapolis,
I'll say New Jersey.
In Jersey,
I'll say New Jersey.
I might off the defense slightly give it to him off the defense, and if Minshew is a quarterback. Now, if you ask me if Richardson is a quarterback, I'm going to go with the Colts. The rookie actually better than me.
I right now have real concerns for the Jets because of the quarterback and offensive line. I don't think they can score.
Yeah, they have
a real
they can't score.
Real issue.
They haven't scored at all.
I'm gonna say Baltimore.
Okay.
My last thing, Netflix. I watched a documentary on Sylvester Stallone. It's called Sly.
Yes, sir.
I would recommend it I'd recommend it to you, and I recommend it to our audience. I watched one a few months ago called Arnold.
Yep. I watched
Coincidentally, that was
it.
really good, but
It
it
was
was
really
very
good.
different because the Arnold one was in 3 parts. It was him as a youth becoming a bodybuilder.
Yep.
Then the second one was him as a action movie star,
Yep.
leading man, like he likes to say. And the third is a politician. 3 acts, loved it, really did. But this one with Sylvester Stallone called Sly, it's only an hour and a half long. It's no 3 parts, hour and a half, and it's very deep emotionally.
Yeah.
So much of his career is based on his relationship with his father and how negative it was.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you saw it.
I did. Yep.
Oh, you did?
I did.
I really recommend it. It's not very long. And I'm planning to see the Yogi Bear one called Yogi. Haven't seen it yet. But I did just recently watch the Sly one. I loved it. Very deep, man. You could tell he's got hurt feelings between him and his father and his upbringing and the breakup between his parents and stuff like that. So I think it was touching. I think if you're one of those people that's like, Rocky, it's dated, I never saw it, blah, blah, blah. If you see this documentary, I think just out of sheer curiosity, after the documentary, you want to watch Rocky, at least the first one. So much is explained with his career, so much, and how he thinks personally because of that relationship. And things like that, father-son, I pay attention to that. So that grabbed me. That was my recommendation. You already saw it, so I hope our listening audience checks it out. And that is our show for today. I want to thank all the listeners. I want to thank you, Larry, for allowing me to do this show with you one more time. Hopefully we get to do it again next Wednesday, 9 p.m. YouTube. Check out What's Good with Gil and Larry every Wednesday. Again, thank you all for tuning in. Stay healthy. And remember, deuces.
Deuces. My man.
My man.
Another one.
Another one. I'm outie.
I'm outie.